Welcome back. Good to have you back. Until recently, the U.S. and North Korea wouldn't see eye to eye on almost any issue. But leaders of both countries are now heading for their first face-to-face meeting ever. And U.S. President Donald Trump says the meeting might take place early, this month or in early June.
Early June. Now, the U.S. president, who disclosed this in April, says he's hopeful that his discussions with the North Korean leader will ultimately lead to an end of the North's nuclear weapons program. North Korea has been threading the path of peace lately, reminiscent in the meeting between its leader Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in that marked the end to decades of hostilities between both countries.
Well, the Trump administration is set to make history if it succeeds in convincing the North Korean despot to agree to the denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. Meanwhile, signs of cracks in the impending meeting the signs are actually visible as North Korea is now slamming the U.S. government for bragging that its hard talks and stance towards North Korea made Kim Jong-un shift grounds. And that just confirms the fears that many people have been expressing for a while now.
Whether this is really for real.
Is it really going to happen, or is Trump just going to do something to upturn everything? Well, we have a senior researcher, Cyril Abaku. Good morning. Good to see you.
Morning, Cyril.
Thank you, Mike.
Nice to see you.
Okay, so let's start from, this latest... what's that word to use now? I don't want to use face-off because that might be a bit too strong.
No, it's not a face-off now.
But,
it's just a development.
Yes,
it's just a trend.
Yes, exactly. It's a development. Thank you. Kim Jong-un is, talking back at Trump, saying, look, hey, you need to tone down your language a bit, be a bit more civil, not to raise unnecessary tensions.
He used the word not ruining the mood.
The mood.
Yes. The reconciliatory mood.
Yes.
Yes, I think it was Mike Pompeo who said that Trump's muscular diplomacy, in those words, muscular diplomacy. Well, for...
As the new U.S. Secretary of State, of course, Mike Pompeo.
Yes, in terms of what it's worth, I think that when you're dealing with a Republican administration, this bellicose rhetoric is almost their signature tune. You remember that even when the U.S. came close to reaching a deal with Iran in those days, you'd often hear them issue a statement suddenly, literally bullying Iran. It was Obama that came and said it was going to have strategic patience with North Korea, and that was willing to actually talk with the Iranians. So that is there for what it's worth. But I think that the U.S. policymakers ought by now to have fine-tuned what their end game really should be. Because the question is that the North Korean leader, if I were in his shoes, I would tell myself that, look, I'm taking a very big risk in taking nuclear weapons away. The fact that the U.S. for many years couldn't run roughshod over them was because of those weapons. So if I'm letting those weapons go, look at the world and look at the way geopolitical power is spread. Any country that does not have nuclear weapons comes under the nuclear protection of another nuclear power. And so with the way the whole thing was even going, you see the North Korean leader sort of downplayed China's influence over the country itself.
They were almost kept out of the loop.
Yes,
in the whole,
meeting directly with the South. And then immediately, they are going to have talks with the U.S. So clearly, when his nuclear weapons are taken away, whose mess is it going to be? Of course, they're going to make a lot of money from it.
Well, there are questions as to the real, genuine intention of North Korea to actually, really, truly denuclearize.
That's a big question. We'll come to it shortly.
Yes.
But I was only saying that, you see, assuming that the picture of denuclearization actually came to
really
be,
what
yes,
it is.
Would he still maintain China as his strongest ally, or would he have ultimately become an ally of the U.S.? I think that was a gap that policymakers in Washington should have effectively pictured into, and then But from the way it's going, I think America will say, or the Trump government will think that they are bullying brought them this far, and that continuous bullying will take them even further. But we need to also understand that this was the same North Korean leader who rained insults on Trump not too long ago.
They both did.
And we have a picture of the guy. We know what he's capable of doing. So if he suddenly wanted to play ball, I think the least they could have done was to cut him and brought the matter to a reasonable conclusion. But all hope is not lost. when South Korea and North Korea met, was it last week?
Yes.
When both leaders met, I think last week or
2 weeks ago.
Yes. The South Korean government has demonstrated sufficient willingness to make concessions, economic. In fact, as at when his North Korean camera and he met, you know, he actually gave him a book and a USB, a flash drive, containing an economic blueprint for making for integrating both countries. You recall that even in 1953, during the Armistice Agreement,
yes,
why talks delayed so long was because the South wanted reunification by all means. They not didn't want it, and you know these things always have the issue of the two countries having their talks, and then foreign powers like Russia, China,
they just
the US
get
and
in
so
the
on.
way.
Yes, get in the way. But I think that this opportunity gives the world and gives the two Koreas an amazing chance that they have never had in a long time.
All right, now let's see from there was, because the last time you were here, we were asking a question. If right now the North and the South have decided to meet, and from their body languages, it is so obvious they want to come together, they can do this thing by themselves. Do we still need the United States? But you said, well, as far as the nuclear power, nuclear weapons and all of that are concerned, they certainly will need the U.S. to, you know, take off all of those nuclear, because it's quite expensive to denuclearize.
Yeah.
But now, comments credited to President Trump saying that when it comes to the issue of withdrawal of troops, it's not on the table, it's not negotiable.
Well,
and you know that from the rhetorics, even at the time there was a standoff between both countries, the issue of stopping the military drills and all the troops at the peninsula was the issue from the North Korea. So if President Trump is saying that is not on the table at this time, and the comments are coming prior to just weeks before they are going to meet, what implications are this going to have on the peace process?
No, I think there are about five-point demands that North Korea made to get this whole process going through. One of them is this issue of troops in the peninsula. The South has specifically said those troops should remain. You know, because the fact is, peace is not an event. Peace is a process.
It's a process.
And that's why, like, I would expect Americans to critically study what the North wants, what they are saying, what they are not saying. You know, like you talk about body language. It's not everything people. Sometimes in this sort of issues, countries make demands, not because they really want those things, but because they need those demands as a cover for what they really want. So you need to look at what they are saying and what they are not saying. Understand the mood properly. Understand what the South is most afraid of and what they also want on the other hand. And then you can. I don't think any of the parties will get everything they want. It will take some time. So fundamentally, what the North said was that they don't want the sighting of any nuclear weapon targeting them directly. You know, because as at now, as we're talking, North Korea has nuclear weapons targeted at South Korea and Japan. So they have said that, and that during the joint truce between the US and South Korea, there should be no nuclear interference, something like that. So it's important that they sit down and look at what the wider implications could be, and then take this process. The fundamental thing is that they want this man's nukes to go, isn't it? So, and the nukes are going to go. Now, the question of troops in the peninsula, US troops, the media is reporting two things at the same time. The one being that the White House is denying that they don't want to withdraw troops, and then other media insisting that Trump is saying that he's going to withdraw those troops. But even
there's another third angle to it that who knows? Maybe Kim is just trying to buy time.
Okay, let's come to this Kim issue once and for all. You know, for me, I would think that Kim Jong-un is not the kind of person that you can that you want to easily think you can
ride
like,
roughshod.
Yeah, you can that you can ride roughshod over with.
Over him.
Pyongyang policymakers are particularly very deliberate. They are very smart. As I speak with you,
and very frontal
yes,
too.
there were 3 U.S. hostages that were taken. You know, from what they had been moved to a hotel. I think that so far the man has demonstrated almost every step and almost every
towards reconciliation and peace.
Towards reconciliation. So I think let us take him
at his word.
At his word. And
what do you even think is playing? Is it his youthfulness and his desire to actually, you know, create some kind of, make history, create some kind of departure from how his forefathers have always done it?
We might as well say it's a miracle.
Oh.
We might as well as much as a
Miracles
miracle.
still happen.
Yes, of course they do. And that's why, for me, I think that, you know, okay, this is a possible scenario. They could say, let's denuclearize over a period of 6 months. We take away one warhead, you make compensation. We take away the second warhead, you make compensation. American intelligence estimates that North Korea could have as much as 60. Yeah. If after 10 have been taken away, he says, you know what?
Meanwhile, you've given him some.
You see, in the end, whether they denuclearize entirely or partially, North Korea is going to be a very powerful and wealthy nation in the world.
But will the world even be a better place if you have South and North Korea actually come together as one country? I mean, it happened in Germany, East and West, you know, coming together, and you know, the world has not exploded.
If the Koreans are going to take that initiative, as Helmut Kohl did in Germany, yes. So if the US are, if the Koreans are going to take the initiative and keep those hawks, those external hawks, away from them, they can achieve that. But you see, the issue is this: reuniting the North and the South goes beyond rhetoric and goes beyond. You see, the fact is that the power. So now in one region you're going to have Japan is a power.
Russia is there.
Russia is there. China is a power. You see, some of them just want to have these countries as chessboards in the power game. Yeah. But are even the external powers going to sit down and watch them come together? It's up to them, in the final analysis. If one of them takes that bold step and says, okay, let's come together and make it work, they can, and I see them doing it. But it's beyond them, really. Okay. The foreign powers also have their interest in saying, look, let's manage them, let's just...
The concept of balance of power. It's all right. People are already fronting the issue of Nobel Peace Prize for both of them if they come together already and all of that. But let's leave you here right now. Cyril Abaku, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Right. We go on a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the primary elections
in Ekiti
and other parts of the country, how it went. Stay with us now.